Every day above ground is awesome. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and it is day 967 of What's She Up To Now, documenting my journey as a transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business over a quarter century in corporate America. Yes, I am that old. Plus, simultaneously, 37 years on the side, either as a side hustle or a side business. Sometimes they weren't just side hustles, they were, double duty. In like 27 different industries, different businesses, over the many decades that I've been involved in business and work and life. And I'm transitioning as of like 3 years ago, at least 967 days ago, more than that, because I didn't come online. I didn't do a video journal or log of it for, at least 6 months, maybe closer to a year. So for several years, for a few years, I've been transitioning and working on online projects and online things instead of having a physical location. I guess I have a physical location because where I work and where I live is obviously somewhere. But virtually everything I do these days, I guess I do in-person events and speaking and things too, but for the most part, 98% of what I do is online. It's through the internet. It's remote. So I have that pajama grandma, work where you want, when you want, with whomever you want, wearing what you want kind of lifestyle. And turns out that COVID, that made that more possible. It made it actually not just possible, but essential that people could actually work from home and learn and provide for their families and make a living working from home. And the internet has made that possible. Technology has made it possible for us to do things that I only dreamt of when I was growing up and starting my career in corporate America and working and running businesses. The technology and the way we can do things now, it's incredibly efficient. And for a nerdy industrial engineer, this is like so exciting. It's such an exciting time because there's so many ways to automate and systematize and outsource and delegate and just be more efficient and more effective, yet with even better quality results, better results for customers than we ever could have before. It's that upward spiral where things are continually improving over time with technology and growth and things. So fun, exciting time. And the internet and technology makes so many things possible, and that's just going to continue to grow and trend, right? Think of all of the new technology that's popping onto the scene all of the time, and different problems as they pop up necessitate different solutions, and sometimes those solutions are technology, sometimes they're not. And of course, just like with anything else, any new invention, any change, there are more problems associated with that, right? I mean, social media is an incredible thing. The internet's an incredible thing, yet it has had and created more problems that we never had to deal with before. Cyberbullying. Nobody ever heard of cyberbullying before the internet, right? There was bullying, which pretty much had to do it in person, right? Now you can bully people halfway across the world with the click of a button, and that's a problem that needs to be dealt with, that needs to be handled. Because guess what? Bullying's never okay. Whether it's behind the scenes, fake behind a mask, pretending you're to be someone else, that almost makes it even worse and more heinous because you're not held responsible and accountable for your behavior. And guess what? We're all responsible, and we all need to be held accountable for our behavior. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We're all humans, but we still need to be held accountable and responsible for the way we act, the things we say, the things we do. So every day above ground is a great, awesome day. This is one of my core beliefs. And has it always been a core belief? No. I'm going to say no. It probably wasn't one of my overriding, driving beliefs or thoughts or feelings until I woke up from the coma in 2010. It wasn't a driver for me, because I do remember the first time I heard a motivational speaker say it. I mean, it's not clear as day because my memory's not that good, but I was in my 20s. I was at a motivational training, a leadership training, with a bunch of people from the company I work for, and one of the speakers got on, and I remember this resonating with me, and I was thinking, yeah, every day above ground is a great day because it's always a chance to do something or whatever. And that was about where I left it, because I went about living my life, dating, having a family, moving to different industries and careers, having different businesses, and I never really thought about it much. I mean, periodically something would pop up that I'd be like, oh, I remember that. And I'd pull out the card because he had a card of happiness and things. And I remember I carried that around for about 10 or 20 years before I cleaned out my wallet and didn't carry it with me anymore. You know, I switched wallets, but I didn't get rid of that card for the longest time. And then I bet I still have it in a box somewhere, because it was one of those things that speaks to you and you keep, but you don't actually live it or remember it for decades. So it wasn't until after my sudden cardiac arrest that I remember thinking and really actually appreciating every frickin' day that I've woken up since that incident. I definitely appreciate every day, even the bad days, even the days I don't feel good, even the days I'm really, really sick. Even last Christmas Day, when I was like super duper sick with the flu, I couldn't even get out of bed or do a video or anything, which is the only day in a long time that I remember that I couldn't even do a video. Christmas Day 2019, the only day that I remember in a long time that I haven't made a live video, because I was sick. I even appreciated that day, because guess what? I got to lay on the couch and cough and feel terrible, but I was still laying on the couch and coughing and feeling terrible. I was still here. So I definitely have a much greater appreciation for just life in general, just being here, being alive. And everything else I get to do on top of that is just icing. It's just candy, right? Or it's just decoration, because just existing is in and of itself something to be grateful for, something to appreciate. So what am I working on? Working on the book very slowly. Hung out with my granddaughter yesterday, so I did not do my 20 minutes on my book yesterday. Idiom today was Dark Horse Candidate, which is kind of interesting given that we're in this huge political scene in America right now. And it wasn't everything I could do to not say anything about politics, but I don't talk about politics for the most part, except for to remind people to think for themselves and not believe the media and the hype and all the crap that's out there, because 99% of it is media, hype, manipulation, and crap. And we need to scrape through the BS and the nonsense and think for ourselves in any situation and walk of life, but especially in something as manipulative as politics. Politics is designed for the people that are running for political elections. It isn't designed for us, and we can think it's designed for us and that people will keep the promises that they make, but very few politicians do. It's up to us to pay attention and think for ourselves, not believe what we see. It's like thinking reality TV is real, watching the news nowadays, and it makes me so sad, because I actually wanted to be a journalist once upon a time in high school and early college, and I'm so grateful, another thing to be grateful for, that I decided to change my trajectory, my career path in my life, because I would be a very sad and disappointed person in politics. I'd have one of those alternate news stations that actually reports real news and the truth still, and then we probably wouldn't be successful, because nobody wants to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the real news. They don't want to hear reporting the who, what, where, when, why, and how of situations, and then you decide for yourself what it means for you. Everybody is so used to and inundated for probably the last at least 3 decades of the news media thinking for us and telling us what we should think and how we should feel about stuff. It's just like Hollywood, you know. Watch a movie. I watch a movie and I watch myself as I'm experiencing that movie go through the different emotions that are built in to trigger in me those emotions. And I realize everything we see, all of the media, social media included, the internet, all of it is designed to manipulate us and make us feel a certain way, right? Think back to the old television commercials old television commercials, the old telephone ads on television, and you know they would just pull at your heartstrings to get you to call your mom or your grandma or something, and everything like that ever since before that, even back in the early or the 1800s, people, probably before that, people have been manipulating and using different strategies and techniques to manipulate other people, and it's just gotten more sophisticated and more hidden. It hasn't gotten less. So again, we just need to think for ourselves. But every day above ground is an awesome day. So the book, the Idiom Dark Horse Candidate, fun challenge today was about, I'm trying to think what it was about. Oh, in my humble opinion. Now, I am really bad about the text speaking things. So IMHO. I didn't actually have to Google that one, but I did have to Google AF a while ago, probably a year or so ago now, because everybody on social media was saying this AF, and I'm like, I had no idea what AF meant, so I had to Google it. Well, IMHO, probably one of my kids told me or something, so in my humble opinion was the fun challenge day, but instead of being in my humble opinion, IMNSO instead of humble, not so, NSHO, not so humble opinion. Because if you're going to have an opinion, have a freaking opinion and say, this is what I think about this. And people are, guess what? People are going to agree with you. People are going to hate on you because for some reason, people think they get to hate you if you have a different opinion than them. Newsflash, we all have different opinions about everything. We all, if you were to take all of us human beings, and even a person that you think is your worst enemy, I guarantee you would find common ground with them on some things. And there's probably 80% of the things that human beings agree or disagree about, 80% we all agree about and we all believe in. It's only like, it's probably not even 20%. It's probably 1 to 3% of the things that we disagree about, but we disagree about them so vehemently that we think we hate each other, but we really don't. So remember that no matter what, the most heinous person, you probably have at least something in common with. And if we look for common ground, we can all get along. Anyway, so fun challenge was in my not so humble opinion. I think I'm pretty open about sharing my opinions about certain things. Things I like and don't like. I do try to shy away from politics and religion because I have had over my lifetime very different religious beliefs. What I believe now about religion and spirituality is light years different than what I grew up believing and what I was raised to believe and what I was not indoctrinated with, but what I was exposed to and experienced as a child. Very different. And over my lifespan, if I were to track my spirituality, just like anything else, it's very different now than it was then. And guess what? We get to choose that. How I feel about appreciation and gratitude and life is very different now than when I was younger. I think that's called maturity. I'm not sure. My family might beg to differ and say, hey, you showed up in your pajamas for 2 years. I don't think you're very mature. That was very mature. Anyway. So that is what I am working on. I'm in a couple masterminds right now, which are like giving me more projects. And I'm in a time where I'm trying to simplify. And so not necessarily going to do the things that other people in the mastermind are doing from an activity standpoint. Mainly because I don't have to, and I don't want to. And if it doesn't feel right for me nowadays, I'm not doing it. So some of the things that come up in the mastermind, I say yes to, fewer and fewer nowadays. And some I just say, no, been there, done that, not going to do it again. Or been there, done that, this is the experience I had, go for it, but I'm not going to personally do that now. I'm just not going to. So the mastermind things, I'm in 3 right now. And that with all the other things I'm doing gets to be a lot. And I said yes because I knew my granddaughter was going to school and I would have more time. But as they become more and more demanding, I will probably zoom that out to just 1. And I will just pick one of the 3 and just stick with that. Because I'd rather do an awesome job in 1 than a half-ass job in 3, if that makes sense. I used to think half-ass will pass. I don't know. I never had that perfectionist bug that a lot of people get sucked into. I've always had a procrastination bug, which I've gotten a lot over, except for writing the book. But for the most part, I always believe do what you can with what you've got right now and take action versus waiting for everything to, the cards to align and the sky to be perfect. Because there's no such thing as a perfect time for anything. Like me, knocking ducks around. All right. That's it. That's all I've got right now. If I can help in any way, hit me up, ask in the comments below, just as a resource, because so often I knew that as a solopreneur or as a businesswoman trying to build different businesses and not necessarily having all the team members and all the resources and all the people in place that I needed, sometimes I just had one silly question I needed to ask somebody and Google didn't have the answer. There was no Google back then for me. But nowadays, sometimes Google doesn't have the answer you're looking for. Just ask. If I don't know the answer, I will help you find the resource that you need to get the answer to the question that you have. All right, have an amazing day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with another update on what she up to as I transition from the brick and mortar world to the online world. Take care. Have an awesome day, because every day above ground is awesome.